A very good morning, children. Myself, Kalpana Kothari, and I am here for the class 10th Social Science, and the chapter is The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Students, in earlier videos, we have completed various subheadings, and in the same process, we are continuing the further headings for the chapter The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. So, our next subheading is the romantic imagination and national feelings. Students, when we say the romantic nationalist feeling, don't get confused with the word romance, okay? Because as probably we think that romance is always between the hero and heroines, as we used to see the Bollywood movies, but it is not so. With this chapter, we are connecting the feeling of romance. It means the love. Love is a variety of love is there. We used to love our mother, the feelings of security, okay? And there is a separate you can say relationship, and the same word is determined or defined in the various different ways. So here we are taking the next subheading of the chapter, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe, and our next subheading is the romantic imagination and national feelings. Okay, that what is all about the romantic nationalism. Earlier we have studied about the nationalist feeling, the feeling of nation state we have completed. Now that how the artistic people, when we say artistic people, it included the poets, okay, it includes the writers, the story writers, poet and poetess, painters, artists, how these people with their own creativity and their particular skill and talent, how they significantly supported the idea of nationalism in the European state. Okay, we are talking to explain it in the video. The romantic imagination, national feelings in terms of the rise of nationalism in Europe. The culture, it means these people have initiated with their own labor and skill. They associated the idea of liberty with the help of the cultural heritage. It included that the art, story, poetry and music. Okay, you can make this diagram also, that the romantic imagination and national feelings involve the cultural, or you can say cultural feeling, which involves the art, story, poetry and music. When we say art, art involves paintings, various types of paintings that the painters of the European you can say region who used to portray the figures, okay, they were also centralized the subject of their paintings to inspire the people for the nation state feeling. It means nationalism feeling. Then folk tales, the story writers used to write the stories which inspire the people to preserve their cultural heritage, जिसने उनको इंस्पायर किया। इन छोटी छोटी स्टोरीज़ ने, फोक टेल्स ने उन्हीं की भाषाओं में वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेज इन पोएट्स ने, इन स्टोरी राइटर्स ने यूज़ की, सो दैट द पीपल हु आर इलिटरेट, जो कि अशिक्षित थे उस समाज में, जो कि पढ़ नहीं सकते थे पर वो सुन तो सकते थे। ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दैट द नॉलेज, और इफ़ वी वॉन्ट टू डू समथिंग, देयर इज़ नो ऑब्स्टिकल कैन कम इन आवर पाथ। अगर आप कुछ करना चाहते हैं तो हिस्ट्री गवाह है कि कैसे द आइडिया ऑफ फोक टेल्स इंस्पायर द पीपल हु आर इलिटरेट, हु बिलोंग टू द विलेज और द कंट्री एरिया, दैट दे गॉट ऑल्सो इंस्पायर द फीलिंग ऑफ नेशन स्टेट। हम अक्सर कहते हैं कि शिक्षित व्यक्ति को बड़ा आसान होता है समझाना किसी भी चीज़ के लिए, लेकिन वी कैन सी दैट इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ यूरोपियन nationalism, that how the illiterate people also came to know about their cultural heritage and about not compromising their own cultural heritage, that it should be upgraded one generation to another. Okay, so illiterate, especially these romantic artists, painter, folk storyteller, story writers, singers, dancers, how these people inculcate or communicate the idea of nationalist feeling among the European state, that is come under the romantic imagination and nationalist feeling. Okay, so these especially for the illiterate people, जो अशिक्षित वर्ग था यूरोप का, उन लोगों को एक कलेक्टिव आइडेंटिटी के लिए प्रेरित करने में, एक कलेक्टिव आइडेंटिटी के लिए प्रेरित करने में कि नहीं अब समय आ गया है, either the France, Germany, Greece and the other Russia and the other part of the European state, that they have to fight they have to fight their to preserve their own cultural heritage. एंड सो अशिक्षित वर्ग को भी इस चीज़ के लिए प्रेरित करना, इस मास को जो है रोमांटिक इमेजिनेशन और इन फोक स्टोरी टेलर्स एंड द राइटर्स, पोएट्स और फोक म्यूजिक कंपोजर एंड द डांसर, इन लोगों ने बहुत ज़्यादा क्या किया, इंस्पायर किया और उन तक ये बात पहुंचाई अपनी अलग अलग विधाओं के माध्यम से। तो ये जो पोएम्स थी जो कि पोएट्स के माध्यम से लिखी गई, ये उन्हीं की वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेज में लिखी जाती थी। They used to compose in a German, Spanish and the other European languages so that they can heard at least. They cannot read and write, but they can heard. सुन तो सकता है ना व्यक्ति, एक अशिक्षित व्यक्ति सुन तो सकता है, ओके, पढ़ नहीं सकता, वो लिख नहीं सकता, लेकिन वो उन विचारों को अगर वो कम्युनिकेटिंग वे में उस तक पहुँचाई जाए और उसी की भाषा में हो तो फिर वो बहुत ही सहज तरीके से, बहुत ही आसान तरीके से समझी जा सकती है। लैंग्वेज इज़ वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट, लैंग्वेज प्ले अ वेरी प्रोमिनेंट रोल whatever we want to study or we want to understand. बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं जो many times language becomes a barrier. Okay, although it is very good to at least to learn how to communicate, how can we easily write and communicate our ideas in the variety of language. But again, it is the most challenging that to learn any language. It takes so much of time and caliber. Okay, and consistency and persistency की भी ज़रूरत होती है किसी लैंग्वेज को सीखने के लिए. That's why these all artists, story writer, poets and musicians have taken the path to portray the image of the nationalist feeling in their skills with their own vernacular languages, regional languages और dialect में उन्होंने ये सब चीज़ें compose करनी शुरू की और जो कि subject उनका एक ही होता था, that how we can preserve our own cultural heritage and how we can inspire the people to fight their common rights and the nation state. Okay, अब जब हम बात करते हैं what is the definition of the cultural imagination or romantic imagination. So student, that romantic imagination, it was a cultural movement, it becomes a movement. Okay, it is a cultural movement which helped to develop the nationalist or national sentiments. Yes, they want to develop the sentiments of the people towards their own motherland and their own culture and their own heritage. And because these cultural heritage doesn't matter we the people are in majority or minority, it never matters. We all are free and we all are born free. As you can see in the French Revolution, how when the constitutional monarchy set up, that how the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen has issued, that everybody, although they hadn't given the chance to the women, that's why the Olympe de Gouges passed and issued a declaration for women and citizen, and she has taken and she has suggested that either the man or the woman, both are equal, both have taken their birth by nature. Okay, so why should they are not given the equal opportunity? That is the other story. It is that when the France became a constitutional monarchy. Okay, so here they want to, with the help of cultural movement, they want, these all artistic people wanted to communicate and develop the feeling of nationalism in the European people. Okay, next, for that what they have done, their objective of romantic artists was to create a nationalist sentiments and develop a collective cultural heritage. Yes, they also wanted to inspire the people that either with the help of one particular painting, the painting can be subjected on the various cultural festival, which can inculcate the idea of their unity, that how the people are equal to each other, how their dialect and their language are similar, so why they cannot be develop the फीलिंग ऑफ कलेक्टिव आइडेंटिटी, कि कहीं ना कहीं हम सब लोग जो हैं एक ही बेस से उभर के आए हैं, हम सब लोग एक ही देश, एक ही संप्रदाय और एक ही कम्युनिटी को बिलोंग करते हैं। और जब अगर ऐसा है तो हम सब के ऑब्जेक्टिव ही सेम होंगे कि हम सब लोग जो है अपने मन में जो नेशन स्टेट, ओके, अ डेमोक्रेटिक नेशन स्टेट की फीलिंग को ही आगे प्रसारित करेंगे और उसके लिए हम लड़ेंगे। तो ये सब था कि कैसे जो आर्टिस्टिक पीपल थे उन्होंने अंडर द रोमांटिक इमेजिनेशन मूवमेंट हाउ दे स्प्रेड द फीलिंग ऑफ नेशन स्टेट इन द यूरोपियन स्टेट। नाउ फॉर इंस्टेंस वी कैन गिव द एग्जांपल, स्टूडेंट ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दैट these references and the prominent figures name gives the authenticity to your answer. जब भी आप किसी प्रश्न का उत्तर लिखते हैं, खासकर हिस्ट्री or in English also, that whenever you are depicting one particular incident in history, and if you will give the example of such type of figure in your answer, definitely you will get the good marks, because it makes your answer more authentic. As आप न्यूज़पेपर में देखते हैं, कोई भी न्यूज़ रिपोर्ट आती है, ओके, सरकार की किसी नीति को लेके या किसी भी सोशल इशू को लेके, तो उसमें वो न्यूज़ ऑथेंटिक कब बनती है? वो न्यूज़ ऑथेंटिक मोर रेलिवेंट तब बनती है जब हम उसमें किसी उसी क्षेत्र से जुड़े किसी मंत्री या फिर किसी बड़े अधिकारी का वर्जन हम उसमें ऐड करते हैं, तब वो न्यूज़ जो है थोड़ी वैलिड और वैल्यूबल बन जाती है। ओके, तो दैट्स वाई, क्योंकि कॉमन पीपल के भी वही विचार हो सकते हैं कि हम क्या सोचते हैं किसी भी इशू पे या किसी भी सरकार की पॉलिसी पे, लेकिन वो मोर ऑथेंटिक तब बनती है जब उसमें उससे रेलिवेंट व्यक्ति या अधिकारी का हम उसमें वर्जन और कोटेशन ऐड करते हैं। उसी प्रकार से जब आप इस क्वेश्चन को कर रहे हो, दैट द क्वेश्चन कैन बी गिवन टू यू, हाउ द रोमांटिक इमेजिनेशन स्प्रेड द आइडिया ऑफ नेशनलिस्ट फीलिंग इन द यूरोपियन स्टेट. तो यू कैन गिव the content that first of all you will explain the what is all about the romantic imagination, how the variety of artistic people spread the idea of nation state with their own skill, including artist, painters, historian, folk teller and dancer. Okay, and then you will write down the example. For instance, the German philosopher John Gottfried Herder. The German philosopher John Gottfried Herder favored that German culture should be preserved and spreaded among the Das-Volks. Who were Das-Volks? These terms should be given by you and you have to learn, otherwise your knowledge will be limited. Never think that NCERT books are too tough, so you will find out the shortcut. No, there is no shortcut to be knowledgeable. You have to learn the new terms, their language and their meaning. It makes your answer and your knowledge more updated, and it is required. Okay, so for example, you can understand that German philosopher John Gottfried Herder insisted that the culture should be spreaded among the Das-Volk. Das-Volk means a common set of people of Germany. Yes, he belonged to the German, and according to a German you can say philosopher whose name was John Gottfried Herder, he believed that a German culture should be inculcated among the common masses, doesn't matter how much they are qualified or not, because it is all about to preserve their cultural values and their, you can say, everything, their festivals, their rituals, everything, because it is all about their own identity. Okay, now in the same series you can take the another example of Karol Kurpinski, and he was a Polish writer who belonged to the Poland. That Karol also believed that the Polish people should be inspired to preserve their cultural heritage and their own identity, and that's why he spreaded the idea of nation state and nationalist feeling among the Poland people with his operas, folk dances, music. Okay, he was a composer, music composer. Karol Kurpinski spreaded the idea of nation state among the people of Poland with his operas, folk dances and music in Poland. You can see that time to time the various philosophers, the artists, painter, they inculcate the idea of nation state among the common people. At the same time, these people who are so learned, they criticize the glory of science and achievement, because this was the phases in Europe when there is so much of advancement has held in the technology and in science. But these people thought that before any technological advancement, first of all, the people should be aware their own nationalist feeling, and first of all they should be given an equal right and opportunity. Then the science should be come in the progressive path. So they didn't supported the idea of any good achievement of the science which used to be published in the newspaper. Okay, they believe that first of all the nation state feeling should be spread among the people of Europe. Okay, this is all about how the romantic imagination develops the feelings of nation state among the European people. In the series, our second subheading in NCERT for the chapter Rise of Nationalism in Europe is Hunger, Hardship and Popular Revolts. That how? When we are saying student hunger, hardship, so we will go back as we have studied the period, the revolution period of 1830 to 1848. These same period are going to included in this subtopic, but we will explain that how they affected, how these why these revolution has taken place, and what was the economic condition of these periods of the Europe, okay, especially England, okay. Hunger, hardship and popular revolts. You can imagine that I have prepared the diagrammatic way. It will be very easy to learn and to understand because these events are step by step, okay. Every next step is the result of the earlier step. When we say hunger, hardship and the popular revolts in Europe, student, so we will first remember the year 1830. 1813 European history is known as the year of the great hardship in Europe. There was so much of economical problems and challenges among the people, okay. And how we can say that the first half of the 19th century there was an enormous increase in population increase. In the first half of the 19th century in Europe there was a huge expansion and a huge, you can say, increasement of the population grows so rapidly in the European region in the first half of the 19th century. As we know, if the population increased in a very speedy manner, so we have to cope up with the resources also, okay. क्योंकि जनसंख्या अगर वृद्धि हो रही है तो फिर हमें सबसे पहले बेसिक नीड हो जाती है फूड, शेल्टर, ओके. ये चीज़ अवेलेबल करानी पड़ेगी. ये नेक्स्ट जो है उसका रिजल्ट हो जाता है, टारगेट हो जाता है गवर्नमेंट का. सो द फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ 1830 ईयर वाज नोन एज अ ग्रेट हार्डशिप इन यूरोपियन हिस्ट्री because the first half of the 19th century there was enormous increasement and you can say increase in the population. Then if the increase in population, then what will happen? Increase in the demand of jobs, the number of people, they are saying that the increasement in the population enormous, unlimited, then these unlimited people want, definitely they want to satisfy their livelihood, so increase in demands of jobs was there. When the increase in demands of job, then what will happen? पलायन होगा, लोग गांव से शहरों की तरफ जाएंगे, जो आज भी कायम है. बिकॉज शहरों में जो स्कोप है, जो जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी है वो पहले से ही ज़्यादा, क्योंकि डेवलप्ड एरिया होता है तो स्किल अनस्किल्ड हर किसी के लिए एक इंडस्ट्री में जगह होती है. एक ही इंडस्ट्री में एक व्यक्ति लाखों का पैकेज भी पाता है ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ हिज और हर स्किल एंड एक्सपीरियंस एंड स्मार्टनेस एंड इंटेलिजेंस. और उसी फैक्ट्री, उसी बड़ी इंडस्ट्री में एक स्वीपर भी होता है या कोई अपने अलग अलग पदों के लिए, तो हर व्यक्ति के लिए रोज़गार अवेलेबल होता है. और यही रीज़न है कि क्यों जो रिमोट और रूरल एरियाज़ हैं वहाँ से लोग बड़े शहरों की ओर पलायन करते हैं, ठीक है. सो द इंक्रीज इन डिमांड्स ऑफ जॉब, then a lot of population migrated from rural to city areas. definitely step by step है. स्टिफ अब क्या हो रहा था कि बहुत सारी पॉपुलेशन जो थी रूरल एरिया की, जो कंट्री साइड एरिया थे यूरोप के, वो कहाँ माइग्रेट हो रही थी? शहरों की तरफ, क्योंकि रोज़गार चाहिए. जितना उन्हें आता है उस बेसिस, उस स्किल पे उनको रोज़गार की तलाश थी, तो वो अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए सिटी एरिया में माइग्रेट हो रहे. आफ्टर दैट stiff competition of small town traders with cheap machine made products which manufacture in England. अब जो टाउन के जो स्मॉल ट्रेड्स पीपल थे उनके लिए ये स्थिति बहुत इकोनॉमिकली बहुत चैलेंजिंग हो रही थी, क्योंकि वहाँ पे बहुत स्टिफ कंपटीशन हो रहा था. क्योंकि ये स्मॉल ट्रेडर्स जो थे हाथ से बने उत्पादों का निर्माण करते थे, मैनुअल लेबर था, ठीक है. और जो मार्केट में, टाउन्स के जो मार्केट में थे, वो जो इंग्लैंड में निर्मित जो प्रोडक्ट थे वो मशीन मेड से हैंडमेड का क्या हो रहा था? कंपटीशन हो रहा था, ओके. तो जो स्मॉल टाउन ट्रेडर्स थे उनको बहुत टफ पड़ रहा था सरवाइव करना, क्योंकि उनमें वैरायटी कम थी, उनमें अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ प्रोडक्ट कम थी. और वहीं मशीन द्वारा निर्मित जो इंग्लैंड में, स्पेशली हम बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे इंग्लैंड का जो टेक्सटाइल था, जो कपड़ा, वो टेक्सटाइल जो था मशीन से निर्मित था और वो उस स्मॉल टाउन में वैरायटी में अवेलेबल था. तो उनके लिए कंपटीशन बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा था और उनको लॉस फेस करना पड़ रहा था, बिकॉज वो जो था वो मैन मेड था और यहाँ पे मशीन मेड टेक्सटाइल फ्रॉम इंग्लैंड इज़ कमिंग टू द टाउन एरिया. तो ये स्मॉल ट्रेडर के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा इकोनॉमिकली हार्डशिप का टाइम आ गया था. इसका क्या फिर नेक्स्ट रिजल्ट क्या हुआ? राइजिंग इन द सेम पीरियड, राइजिंग फूड प्राइसेज एंड बैड हार्वेस्ट रिजल्टेड वाइड स्प्रेड pauperism. Important, pauperism, okay. It means poverty in towns and country. अब क्या हुआ कि दूसरी मुसीबत ये आ गई कि यही वो हार्डशिप के टाइम थे जब क्रॉप फेलियर हो रही थी और हाई पॉपुलेशन है, क्रॉप फेलियर है, मार्केट में फूड प्रोडक्ट्स क्या हो जाएगा, उसका रेट बढ़ जाएगा क्योंकि कंज्यूम करने वाले लोग ज़्यादा हैं और जो प्रोडक्शन है वो कम है, तो ऑब्वियसली मार्केट में उस प्रोडक्ट की कीमत बढ़ जाएगी। तो हाई प्राइसेस ऑफ द फूड ग्रेन्स, बैड हार्वेस्टेड, okay, and high population, all these things resulted into the widespread pauperism, it means poverty in towns and country। बहुत बड़े परसेंटेज में लोग गरीबी का सामना कर रहे थे यूरोप में फ्रॉम 1830 टू 1848, और यही कारण है कि 1848 से पहले बहुत सारे रिवॉल्ट भी हुए थे, ठीक है, इस इकोनॉमिकली इम्बैलेंस को लेके। नाउ दैट अब देखते हैं, up to reaching to the 1848 food shortage resulted, okay, it was a result of 1830 the bad year economically in European history कि 1848 में दो क्राइसिस हो गई, एक हो गया फूड शॉर्टेज हो गई, सेकंड हो गया अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ गया। तो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड द फूड शॉर्टेज वाज द रिजल्ट ऑफ 1830 hardship and hunger which resulted in 1848 in European history that there is a food shortage, food अवेलेबल नहीं है, कंज्यूमर ज़्यादा हैं और वो प्राइस उसका बढ़ गया है, सेकंड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट भी बढ़ गया है। अब देखिए कि ये सब हो गया 1830 और 1848 तक, अब जनता चुप क्यों बैठी है, अब उसे क्या चाहिए, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मोनार्की है फ्रांस में। तो अब क्या हो रहा था कि अब जनता जब भूख से मरने लगी, जब एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं है, तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है कि सबसे पहले बड़ी बड़ी बातें भी तभी होती है, ज्ञान भी तभी दिया जाता है बेटा जब इंसान का पेट भरा होता है। तो बेसिक नीड अगर पूरी नहीं हो पा रही है, वी आर नॉट कैपेबल टू सेटिस्फाई आवर लाइवलीहुड और द बेसिक नीड्स, 3 टाइम मील्स, ओके, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द न्यूट्रिशियस फूड, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द बेसिक फूड वेयर वी कैन सेटिस्फाई आवर हंगर, ओके। तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है इंसान खाली पेट रिवॉल्ट ही करता है अपने अधिकारों की, क्योंकि एक कैपेबिलिटी होती है और उसके ऊपर कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं होता है, okay। So all these hardship, hunger converted into the revolts, and in this series population of Paris came out on roads for demonstration। अब आम जनता जो पेरिस की थी वो विद्रोह करने के लिए, प्रदर्शन करने के लिए सड़क पे उतरी, because they are dying for hunger, there is no employment and they are suffering, they are not capable to satisfy their family members 3 times meal। And now what happened that after seeing such a situation, Louis Philippe fled, he has been ran away, and because he was not able to balance the situation, we know that when the France became a constitutional monarchy, then Louis Philippe was the head of the government, and that's why he was not able to control the situation, that's why he fled, he ran away, he was not able to control the situation। Then under the National Assembly proclaimed republic, guaranteed suffrage to all male above 21 years and guaranteed right to work, and it was decided when Louis Philippe was flee from France, then the National Assembly of France declared that every male who is up to the 21 years there will be a right to work, okay, right to work will be available for them, they will utilize their right to work, it became a law, and under it so many workshops were set up within some period of time to make the availability of the employment to the people, to the male who were up to the age of 21 years। So under the National Assembly they have given the right to work, and they have set up so many workshops to make availability of the employment to the needy people। So students, this is all about in this topic, the rise of nationalism in Europe. We have covered the romantic imagination and national feeling, and hunger, hardship and popular revolts। Now the question, how the question can be asked? Question can be asked for these two topics in a variety of ways, that they can give you the question, if we talk about the 3 marks question also, 5 marks question also, that what question can be framed for this topic. So for the nationalist romantic feeling they can give you 3 marks. Explain, they can give you explain how the idea of romanticism helped to spread the feeling of the feeling of the feeling of nationalism the feeling of nationalism in Europe. Okay, the question can be given to you 3 or 5 marks. There is no set pattern. Always remember, don't limit yourself. Always study the detailed content so that you can, if the question can be asked for 3 marks, you will be able up to that keywords. Okay, and if the same question is given as a 5 mark, you can enhance or detail in a detailed manner, you will be able to write down. So always remember that you have to learn a lot and then you can, because आप एक लॉन्ग कंटेंट को छोटा कर सकते हो, पर एक ऑलरेडी अगर आप छोटा कम याद करो तो उसको within the 3 hours or within the 1 hour 30 minutes, as the term 1 will be for your 90 minutes this year. So how you will utilize the full time and how you will justify to attempt each and every question. Okay, so that now in this you have to write down how the painters, how the musician, you can give the example of these Karol Kurpinski of Poland, and you can give the example of John Gottfried, okay, of German. It makes your answer more relevant. So this question can be given to you, okay, which I have taught you the topic. Second, they can give you how explain the hunger, hardship and revolts of the 1830 in France. Okay, so because they all are interconnected, that how 1830 years was known as a great hardship in Europe. They can give you the question, explain how, why 1830 year is known as the great hardship in European history. Okay, and same will be on their choice for 3 or 5 marks. So students, up till now, these were all about your further topics. We will continue further more topics of the chapter. Till then, take care, goodbye and be happy. Thank you.